trailer.
Yeah. I think they let you get back in the vehicle.
I got back in. He could eat me up if he wanted to. It takes the fun out. Get my breath from
Catch your breath.
All right, let's do this. 9 o'clock is called the meeting to order. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First item on the agenda is the public comment. Do we have any?
No.
It's 9:15. Exonerations and consolidations.
This is time for this. Harry brought in, splitting, everything calls it split the property. Division of property that goes through here now.
Does that go through here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Oh.
Morning.
Hi, man.
Ask you guys to sign the local sheet.
Mhm.
How are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Pretty good.
Merge, bring together.
I'm so excited. That'll be a good day.
Is that all? The exonerations and consolidations?
That is off. And also he has a certificate of evaluation. Is that pass it across your desk?
I'll move that, approve that division of property.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. State qualifications and settlements. How are you?
Okay, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Good, you?
Okay,
Good.
ready for spring?
You got a big cheerleader with the EDA, Diane Ludwig.
I just want to
She
phone
sings
with her
your
last.
praises a lot.
Well, thank you. She's a
She's
very
smart
good
lady,
mentor. Yes, she
Take
is.
what she has and
She's helped me out so much. It's just amazing.
she's on the little call bus board.
Yes, she told me she was on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's proud of you.
Well, she knows her stuff, I'll tell you that much.
Mm.
She's probably forgotten more than I'll ever know.
Yeah, wow.
I don't know.
Santa Claus?
About 2 days ago,
coming up to get
Yeah, I already did. Next week, I'll give you
Move to approve the qualifications and settlements.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Board appointments.
None.
Approved county commission minutes.
Did she put the change?
She had amended it yesterday. Okay. So moved, we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Receipt of county board minutes, local emergency planning committee and PSD. Signed Susie Kirkpatrick's contract as Office of Emergency Management Director.
I'm going on. They're doing a big party up there. Fort Rapids. Hotel has water park in town.
You want a motion to enter into one year contract?
We do.
Just matters of.
Same there.
Just needs to.
Right, Cindy? We already did the motion. That's just contracts.
Sign Eric Squires revised contract as Deputy Director, Office of Emergency Management Director.
You could present it to one, or I can, whichever.
Well,
That's fine. I was gonna ask you if she'd send it over to you.
How far is it from?
3.5 hours.
Yeah, well, we don't have any choice.
Yep.
Let's see, the Gilmer County competitive bid policy, did we make any headway on that?
Wait on you guys. We have
Probably
we
have a
have,
workshop and discuss it. I think more. We kind of, you have a parameter.
Go ahead.
yeah, we have it, you have what I proposed, you have the paragraph that Jerry Hoff edited, so it's all put together into another draft form.
I hear a motion tabling the competitive bid policy until we put a workshop together.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That doesn't make
Gilmer County
Get that.
too ridiculous.
volunteer fire department rent proposal for the ambulance store.
Can we postpone that? I need to make a couple of amendments. Gary Radcliffe was brought in what they would like to have put in, but it's not really good. And I need to go edit it. We can put that off a little bit later on.
It was just verbiage, correct?
It
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Rec center pool repair update, nothing has changed really. We got some letters out. asking for help and
You never
partners in the
leave. I'm
last,
Cindy Wilson.
the other $50,000 of this project.
Okay, very good, thank you so
The
much.
bid process will start, it'll go in the paper this coming week. And, Mr. Stu Sink as another option has come back, he came back and, is gonna go out and do some measuring of the pool and look at some of the concrete work that has to be done. And the coating that he has proposed to put on there is approximately $3 a square foot. So,
And how many square feet is in that pool?
it said out there that there was 16,000.
Probably that right. It's Olympic size.
16,850, I think is. So I guess that would be closer to 70.
188,000 gallon of water, fill it.
And that's
Have you
another-
heard-
Huh?
Has Noble Energy gotten back with you all or
No.
anything?
We've left message after message.
So have I, and I've
Yeah.
not been able to get.
Very dissatisfied.
Yeah, I'm disappointed.
Okay, well, it's close enough. I believe we'll take Mrs. Beverly's stump.
No, I don't have a folder for everybody to make a share, and I think you already know about this, so, I have one more. Okay, I'm here today to talk to you about a benefit that my company offers. It's a payroll deduction benefit, and I work in all the state agencies. I graduated actually from Glenville State, that's a long time ago, but I work with the school system here, the DHHR in every county in West Virginia, 30 of the school systems, most of the colleges, and just about every state agency now. So what I'm here to talk about today, I was asked to talk about the benefits that we offer and why that could be important to your employees. And not only to your employees, but also to the employer, because people have a lot of things going on in their life today and they have no way to handle it. So we do the legal service and identity theft protection service, which you know identity theft is huge right now. Our company has been in business for 40 years. We have two companies that actually joined together because identity theft was becoming such an issue that Kroll, Background America, I don't know if you've heard of them, they're the leading security and fraud company in the world right now. They work with the government and the military, and we're the only company that they allow to give their, to offer their benefits to our members. So they're the one that will actually take care of you if you become a victim of identity theft. And what they do is try to prevent that from ever happening. But you know, identity theft, that's about legal issues mostly. 20% of it is about financial issues. The rest of it is legal. So I'm going to tell you, if you allow us to offer this to your employees, we also work with Blue Cross and Blue Shield. We work with the city of Cleveland, several cities and counties. So, you know, we work with 35,000 businesses now. And the reason that employers are concerned about their employees is because they miss work because of legal issues a lot of times, even though it doesn't seem like it is. It could be a traffic ticket, it could be a family law issue, it could be things that they don't have any way to take care of on their own. And, you know, 90% of people out here are taking care of things on their own. And the reason for that is because of the high cost to the judicial system. You know, attorneys are great, they help people, but most people just can't afford to pick up the phone and call an attorney without making a financial decision. It's not really a legal decision, it's a financial decision. So that's what we do. We have 1,100 attorneys nationwide. So whatever's going on in our members' life, they have an attorney firm in every state in the country, and they have attorneys on staff that specialize in every area of law. So it doesn't matter what's going on with them or where it is. And I went into a hospice, for example, one day, and the manager said, "You're welcome to speak to my employees and offer them service, but they make minimum wage. They're not going to sign up. Nobody will sign up." He had 46 employees there, and 45 of them signed up. Because I said, you don't know what's going on in their life right now. You know, people have things going on in their life and they feel helpless. They can't do anything about it. So that's why our company started, to be able to help everybody have the same access to justice. That's what our company's about. That's what we're about. This covers the member, the spouse, children up to 26 still in the household unmarried. Children with disabilities would be covered for life, and if they're in college. And up to 23, if they're not in college, they're just unmarried and still in the household. So it covers your whole family. And why would you need to talk to an attorney? Well, you know, we all need to. We don't always do that, but we need to. Anytime a situation could turn out better by having access to an attorney, then you need to talk to one. So they can call unlimited number of times. I don't know, can I get a drink of water? Sorry. You can call unlimited number of times and ask questions. You know, what are my rights in this situation? What can I do about this? What can I do about this insurance company turning down my claim? You know, there's all kinds of things that come up, everyday life issues. So, you know, it can be little things or it can be very serious things, like vehicular homicide. Does anybody have an idea what a retainer for that is, if that happens to you?
No.
It's about $75,000. And you know where it's covered? No place. Car insurance doesn't cover it. We're the only thing in America that covers that, even for teenage drivers. So you can call, get your questions answered. You know, thank you very much. It may be a property dispute. It may be the parents died without a will. And I just went through a workshop yesterday, and the attorney was talking to us about what can happen to families when someone dies without a will. You know, you may have all the good intentions of leaving everything to your family, but what happens if you don't have a will? A lot of times, half of your possessions will go to your children, and half of it to the spouse. So that has to be settled somewhere, or your children can be placed in foster care. There's all kinds of things. People don't go out and get wills because, number one, they don't want to think about dying, and number two, they can't afford it. So with this service, they get their wills done, the same will that our attorneys write for people walking in off the street, paying $500 each for. The member and their spouse and their children all get wills done free and updated every year. Medical power of attorney and all of those things are completely free. They get their questions answered, their documents reviewed up to 15 pages. And I think John heard me say this before, but what is a prep fee on a contract when you're buying a vehicle? Does anybody know?
So unless this guy, I mean, it's his relative.
You know, don't you?
His insurance.
Okay, that's not I thought it was to prepare the paperwork, but it's actually to clean the car out for you and gas it up and bring it around the side of the building. And how many times have we paid that? In West Virginia, they're allowed to charge from $300 to $1,500 for that. And the only way I knew that's because one of our members called me and she said, you know how you said to always have an attorney look at everything before you sign it? Everything. A contract for anything. She said, I did that when I was buying a car, and the attorney called me back right after I faxed it to him and said, tell them to take the $1,500 off, you can clean it up yourself. And they did. It's not illegal. But how many times do we sign things that we really don't understand what's in there? So you can have your attorney look at those things before you sign them. Traffic tickets. If you get a traffic ticket anywhere in the country, you can call your one number, your 1-800 number that you always call, and you will have an attorney. Actually, the last 2 times, don't hold this against me, but the last 2 times I got a ticket, one was in Virginia, one was in Ohio, which has been over a 2-year span. And both times, well, the first time the Ohio attorney firm called me back within 5 minutes. And he said, first of all, this is not going to cost you anything. Secondly, you don't have to come back for court because we'll go for you. And that happened both times. You had to pay the fine, but I don't have any points against my license. My insurance didn't go up. Civil lawsuits. We cover civil lawsuits. If you or your spouse are involved in a lawsuit, named in a lawsuit, you start out the first year with 60 hours of an attorney's time, and you add 60 hours to that every single year. And it doesn't matter. If you have it for 5 years, you have 300 hours built up with this service. We also do, if you're audited or go to tax court, you have a tax attorney to go with you or for you. And everything that I didn't specifically go over is 25% off the hourly rate, which would be things like if drugs and alcohol are involved in a car accident, if you're stalking someone, you're not going to get the discounted rate. What we're trying to do is protect families. The only thing your members cannot use this for is against their employer, because we do work through thousands of employers. Then we have the 24/7 service. If you have an emergency after hours, you can call an attorney from anywhere in the country. The mayor of Marietta just told me, he said, you had to use my service. I was in Oklahoma, got stopped one night late by the police, and he said, "Sir, what did I do?" And the officer said, "I just need to see your driver's and registration." He handed out his legal shield card, and he said, "Well, if I need to, I can call my attorney right now." And he said, "You can call your attorney right now, 10 o'clock at night?" He said, "Absolutely." So, it's pretty powerful knowing you have access to your attorneys nationwide for any legal situation for your whole family, 24/7. And we also cover the 5 areas of identity theft. And I told you a minute ago that we work with Kroll Background America. That's the leading security and fraud company in the world. And what we're trying to do, everyone thinks identity theft is about their credit cards, and it's not. However, everybody has criminals have our information. And the reason is because 80% of the businesses you've given it to has already had a breach. PEIA insurance, I was a teacher, and they lost my daughter and my information. The state of West Virginia, the state of Ohio, the IRS, Social Security, TJ Maxx, Citibank, Wells Fargo, Target. Our information's out there, and they buy it in 5s. They buy they want your Social Security number to work under. I worked in Canada 2.5 years ago for 6 months, and I was working here the whole time. But I got the statement to pay taxes in Canada. So, I had to have Kroll to take care of that. That was a legal situation, or it could have turned into one. As soon as I called them, they step in physically for the medical, the Social Security, the criminal, which criminal is a lot of the identity theft, the financial, identity, driver's license identity theft. They physically step in, and the first thing you and your spouse get is a copy of your credit report, and then we monitor every day. And if something, financial identity theft is not about your credit cards. You have your credit card companies calling you and asking you, did you do this? Or if you see something on your statement, you can report it within the 60-day time period. That's what you have. So financial identity theft is when they buy your identity, go to another state, set up a new address, and then they start buying things. And you're not going to know that at all because you don't get a statement from it. I had a young man in Morgantown, West Virginia, 28 years old, trying to buy his first home and couldn't buy it because he owned one in New York. Someone bought all 5 of his identities, bought a home in his name, and he was stuck with it. So we have a 60-day window, and that's what they try to prevent. They don't want the 60-day window to go by until they notify you immediately. And then if you become a victim, they actually step in and physically do all the repair for you. It's not a restoration like an 800 number that you're going to have to sit there for days and try to fix. They're going to fix it for you. And there was a young lady in Charleston, and she was extradited to Virginia, and she had 5 states she had criminal charges in, had to have attorneys in every state. So with this service, you already have attorneys in every state in the country. And that's what we offer to your employees, and it's voluntary if they want it. Nobody pushes them to do that. If they don't, that's fine. But we have a high response rate every time. And I think your employees are they paid bi-weekly or, I'm sorry?
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly. It'd be $13.34 for all the protection that I just covered. Plus, we have a bunch of, several free items that we give away. I'll just give you a copy of this.
So how does this work? We would set up a time for you to come in and speak to the employees?
Yes. And then when we're in there, we give them, this is what they get the day they sign up. It has a monitoring sheet in it to get their credit monitoring started, has their will questionnaire, and the attorneys say, would they even come and do will workshops for you if you want them to, the attorneys. But they have an 800 number they can call and get their wills done, even if you have an outdated will, they will update it for you. They're very good with those wills, so, that helps a lot of people.
Okay,
It's a good plan. I'm a member.
Yes, it's a very good plan. I signed up 14 years ago. I was a school teacher, and I was worried, you worry about liability when you're in a job like that. And I found it, at first, that's all I was worried about. But then, the first thing that happened with my mother, which, that meant a lot to me, was she was charged $300 on a used car that she'd had for 3 weeks to repair it. And she was crying, and I said, they can't do that to you. And she said, what can I do about it? Do you know how many people feel like that every single day? What can I do about it? I said, you know what, let's call this legal service and see what they do. 60 minutes later, that $300 disappeared. So, I thought, wow, how often are people taken advantage of and they can't do anything? So, I'm very passionate about this, and it's a very good service, and everybody needs it. Everybody will have it. Even wealthy people get this because they didn't get wealthy because they're stupid.
yeah. Well, I don't see any issue with letting her speak with the employees. It sounds like a good idea to me.
Okay, all right. Who would I set that up with? If someone could just.
It's done as an employee deduction,
Uh-huh.
Payroll.
payroll deduction.
Yes.
We will, well, Cindy's our administrator,
Okay,
so probably work through her and we'll see about you guys getting something set up where you can speak to the employees.
okay, great.
How much time does it typically take?
It takes about half an hour to do the whole thing, to do the enrollment and everything, unless there's a lot of questions, sometimes we have a lot of questions, but.
Okay.
Is that something you would consider having like at a 4 o'clock or any time after work?
Sure, I work around the clock sometimes when I go to hospitals and places like that. Anytime that's good for you all, that's fine with us. And, we'll just get them in and out, and then if you want us to, we'll have our attorneys to come back and do a will workshop, because, a lot of times people don't do their wills because they don't know what to do. And I've heard our attorneys go into detail, that if you have a blended family, if you have this or you have that, everybody's is different. So they're very good at helping them with that.
I think the first step is getting you in front of the employees.
Okay?
So I think Larry's right, at 4 o'clock time would be.
Okay.
So you just might send out an email or something and.
Yeah, here's my card, Beverly, and then we can set
I'll call you.
a time.
Okay. All right, I'll call
Or
you.
Cindy, they may, like at their lunch hour, someone may want to do a half hour at their lunch instead of staying after work because they got kids.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
and I can bring lunch in, if anybody wants to do that. I'll
We'll
call you.
and then set a date.
Okay, thank you
We
all
may
so
have to do it a
much.
couple different settings.
Yes,
Yeah.
we could
Well,
do
that's-
that.
Yeah, you're flexible.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I'll give you this, Cindy, it's real easy to administer this service.
Okay, thank you.
You were about a month ago, isn't it, back when you came before the Board of Education?
I came before the Board of Education. I've been working with the Gilmer County Schools now since last December, I think.
Well, when you came before the bus driver?
Yes, the bus drivers was last month.
Yeah.
Or a month or so ago.
And how many did you get signed up?
We had all but one that signed up.
And there's 14. So all the signed but one.
And that's what usually happens once they hear, because everybody starts saying, wow, I could have used this last week, or I need help with this, and.
Child
yeah,
support.
Child
alimony.
support, yeah, all kinds of things that are happening to them.
Where's your company based out of?
Oklahoma. I'm the vice president for West Virginia though, so we have one for each state. And I've been with it for 14 years now. And if you all have any more questions, I can stay for a while.
I don't think so, Beverly. I think we're in good shape. I think we'll save our questions for when you come back.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You all have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, next we have Susan Sonic Ware for the GCEDA.
I have the resolution that I need, the county commission's consent for us to apply for grants, naming us as the one and only Economic Development Association in the county. The lead. Yes. I think I need Brian to sign it. If we don't have this, then we can't apply for any grants at all.
I don't think so.
Motion to adopt the resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
But you are the lead economic development agency. I don't know anything else.
There are 2 copies there, one for her to take with her today.
There was just one other thing I wanted to let you all know about. David actually and I had a meeting with Doc Benson. And I don't know, I know he's contacted Wheeler about doing the movie here in Gilmer County. We had a meeting with him yesterday. And this is a copy of the movie that he did for a town in Indiana. And after the movie, it's getting ready to be released in Walmart and different, and it's a faith-based movie. Good for all, education levels, age levels. After this movie was released, the town's economy skyrocketed. They had new businesses coming in, they had just all sorts of things. He wants to do a movie about Bloomfield. It would not be until between May and July of 2015. He's very astute. His wife, Annette, is the culinary teacher at the Calhoun-Gilmer Career Center. So they live in Cairo, so they do have roots here now. He said there's just so many advantages to having the movie done here. And what they want to do in this movie is portray a small rural town in all the aspects. From the diner to the suspension bridge that's here, they want to put that on there. How baseball fields was developed. For instance, the Sue Morris complex. How we are such a small community, but we have these wonderful attributes, and he wants to portray that in this movie. He would have his company, the actors would come in, and the guy for the lead role. They're talking to Richard Dean Anderson. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was MacGyver. I remember him. But now that's been a while back. But that's who they're talking about having as the lead actor. So it's not some fly-by-night company. I mean, he mentioned several big-name people. Do you,
No.
interject here
Too
at
many.
any time? Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line is this, I haven't taken, he gave Susan and I each one of these to review. He would like to come back to Gilmer County and do a premiere showing to the community. We cannot, well, she can look at it, I can look at it. We cannot loan this out because of licensing. But what he would like to do is do a huge community showing as a premiere. They're premiering this in April, and it has already won awards. He's getting ready to leave for Germany to a independent film conference for an awards thing. So they're working on the script. He's talked to the college music department about writing a music score for this movie. And so he's very involved. And why we brought it up today is in order for them to do any filming here or be here and use Gilmer County in the movie, we need permission. That it's okay to use the name Gilmer County. And we need to go to the city and talk to them about using the land. So we need both those approvals, and then he will set up a screening. We'll work with him on a screening somewhere here and invite the whole community to come see this. We saw the trailer yesterday. It's quite interesting. So. But it's another positive move for Gilmer County. And we're moving on up. So
His interest was rural counties or communities that have, in this horrible economy, have just kind of gone to nothing. And that's what this Connellsville, Indiana was. It was nothing. I mean, I think he said, what, there was 300 people or something. It had, the population had dwindled so much. And now it has come back, and there's a new manufacturing company that's located there. I mean, it's just like, he put them back on the map. And they didn't have a college. And he said, I'm thinking that with your college, with all the attributes that you have, he said, I think he could do nothing but positive things. And the band, he's gonna work with the bluegrass band from the college, so all the music, the background music in the movie would be. And he has had meetings with the college, and I think it's great. I mean, he's really reached out to the community, you know. I think he spoke to Larry, spoke to me, he spoke to Dennis, he's been to the college, so it's not like he's just targeting one section, you know. So, we just wanted to let you guys know that while we were
Good.
And we would like, if you're in agreement with it, a letter that it's okay to say Gilmer County in this film and use the name. And then we'll plan on going to the city and ask the same.
I don't have any particular issue with that, and it sounds to me like a great thing. This stuff, it seems like maybe there ought to be some sort of guidelines or something for us to, I don't know just exactly what I'm trying to say or how I'm trying to say it, but in order for us to give permission to use Gilmer County, that it wouldn't be
displayed in a negative
some
light.
parameters, yes. I mean,
When I
just,
spoke
we
with him, he
can-
mentioned we would meet though.
Yes,
Well, he
yes.
wants
Oh,
to
yeah.
meet. He wants to meet, but to get, in our discussions yesterday, with this preview would be nice to get people interested and invite all the churches and, you know, because they are a faith-based group. And he's willing to come and talk and get that set up.
I don't think
But we
there's
can
any issue.
email him.
Yeah.
And just say, what are some parameters? That's not a problem. But we'd like to get, he said, the sooner we can get things rolling, the more momentum this will get. They will be here on and off through the next year, setting up where they're shooting, what they're doing. And they also will be living here for 6 to 8 weeks, 3 weeks prior
While they're filming.
and 3 to 4 weeks after, plus the weeks of shooting. And part of it is, as he said in Indiana, why they did this permission thing, is because the city there, the town, closed streets one morning for filming. They, you know, just that kind of thing, just for safety. And I asked him about the people, because they want to use local people as walk-ins and, you know, and in the different scenes, release forms. And they have a blanket, and like he said, they'll put signs in one area where they're gonna be filming that said, if you're entering this area, know that there's filming going on and you may or may not be on film. But other than that, for personal, they do have release forms for, so that nobody's covered. It's a liability thing.
And he also has liability insurance.
Yes,
We
he's
did ask that
totally
right away,
covered.
he's totally covered, so that's another.
Okay.
Good.
Well, it sounds good to me. Thank you all very much for coming.
Before you leave though, I don't want to jump the gun, but this farmer's market, spring's coming, any
There's a
people are asking,
farmer's market committee meeting March 20th, I
opening,
believe. And we will be opening the day before Mother's Day in May, the Saturday before Mother's Day. Last year we opened in April, it was too early. It was cold, it was miserable, so we decided to go back to the Saturday before Mother's Day.
I can see that.
Susan, have you received a phone call from the Tudor's Biscuit World or Giovanni's?
No, I'm not.
A gentleman named Greg, I can't remember his last name, when I was in Spencer, I got to talk to, and
Okay,
I give him the number that I had for you
okay.
to call to see about getting that here.
Um,
The combination there below Walmart in Spencer.
okay, I am, in our networking sessions, Mark Whitley, who's the director of the Rome Jackson
Right.
EDA. I've been talking with him, so I'll give him a call and
Okay,
see what's up, see if he can help us, so that'd be great.
thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you guys
Thank
very
you.
much.
Have a good day.
Keep up the good work, Susan.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, see you.
Bye. Bye, Cindy.
Letter of agreement for E911 dispatch services for 2015.
Again. With that. We take care of
A little bit, I don't know if you're planning to discuss that or something today, but. I think there may be some negotiation on the annual contractual agreement.
Well, I'm sure it's waiting 2 weeks on.
Good luck.
the 35-pound.
I hope you're right,
Yeah.
because I've hit it pretty hard a time or two. Okay.
Can I say that one more time? I just want to see, I forgot what the date on it was. Is that calendar year or fiscal year? July 1?
July 1.
Do I hear a motion tabling the letter of agreement until the next meeting?
I'll move that we table until the Wednesday, March 19th meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Renewal of Little Canal Transit Authority contribution for 2015. How's that going there?
Good.
I've heard
Cedarville
some
area seems to be using it
I've
most.
heard some people using it.
Yeah.
So they send a letter, it's time for them to start preparing for fiscal year 15 and application for their budget and subsidies. And they need to know what county commissions will be for the next year. This letter kind of highlights what the agreement was for the present year we're in and asking for a response by May 14th, what your intentions will be for next year.
Thumbs up.
That needs to go with the current budget, and the current budget file that we're working on.
It's 1,000, but really only 500 because we give that 500 back.
I'll give that back to Cindy, so she can put that in the budget. What was that? I was out knocking on somebody's door, and they told me they were clear to Clarksburg.
Yeah, he goes once a week to Clarksburg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and took them up there and took them to Walgreens, and they did some, they went 2 or 3 different places, so
I think Clarksburg is a $15 trip.
I couldn't remember what it said, it was nothing.
$15.
Yeah.
I have the volunteer fire department proposal ready if you want to review it.
Okay.
Sally also told me at the senior center that there had been people coming in, like they go, let's say, Normantown area today with the senior vans, he'll go the other way, and she said he's brought in people to the senior center, so it's helping there too.
And the the copies that you have is highlighted, those matched on the additions, and then Brian holds the original with those changes, if you agree with that and want to sign it.
misunderstanding when we went in there.
Hear a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We may need to get some definition, I mean, this is per their request, but just exactly what are they requesting in a quarterly financial report? Is it verification that we're doing what we agreed to do?
Yeah,
or-
they wanted to see.
See, that you have the fund set up and that it is in there. Yeah, that's all they're asking.
Yeah, that's your tone. That's what we see here.
Update priority list for Region 7, planning development, comprehensive economic development strategy.
Yeah, here's the current list of the scoring.
No. We know what I mean. I'm not,
Yeah.
they may have before.
You're in your fourth year?
Finishes 3. In January, we'll start my,
Yeah.
this is my 3rd. I'm in my 3rd year.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You're in your fourth.
I'm in my 3rd year.
January starts your last 2 years.
You're in your fourth year.
Yeah.
What's the time frame that they want this priority set?
March 14th.
Well, that's not much time. I'm not familiar with about half of these, Brian. I couldn't vote.
There never was that many
Prior to
on that
us.
list before.
You guys may know this one, annex building. It's the project type, it says housing for $225,000. Is that possibly for the
Jail, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Not the end.
annex buildings? What it
That's what it
says.
says, but I thought it was the jail when we talked about, remember?
I thought that,
Over there.
no, that was for the heating and air conditioning and the elevator over there at the annex, wasn't it?
This has the little Canal River Parkway on it for $866 million.
Yeah, we didn't pay
Who drew this up?
Region
That's
7.
just been followed. We have to
You can see
put
what
our
we checked
points,
over there.
right. Those are our points, those are the
Last-
points you did. You have 25 total, right? Points that we would get.
45. 45.
So we scored those 2 things right there. Courthouse renovation and the annex.
That must
That
be
would've
for the
been for that.
HAVC.
It was in that elevator on the outside, remember when Daniel came, we looked at it, yeah. That's where we put our points. Was on those 2 things. Because we sent it with all of our points on one, and we had to break it up.
Mhm.
Let us put them all on one.
I don't think that amounts to anything. This will be 6 years I've done that, I've never seen it materialize one thing.
The letter here from Shane, even though they're asking for that by March 14th, it does say that for better results and a more accurate list, it would be advisable to organize a meeting time with the council members and any other local citizens or organizations deemed appropriate.
See, they don't have monthly meetings anymore. They just have Region 7 just has quarterly meetings.
So they can't afford it the way their dues are, they can't afford those monthly meetings.
And the first quarter's meeting, of course, you realize was canceled about twice, and then finally they just said, we're not going to have a first quarter meeting. So the next one, it will probably be in April. I'll talk to Shane Whitehair and report back at the next meeting. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay?
Signed grant application for an additional $1,000 for replacement of EMS roof. And signed grant application for an additional $10,000 for replacement of old jailhouse boiler.
My telephone.
Oh.
Okay, this is from the community participation. This is for the additional $10,000 on the EMS roof. We will not need all of it, we may need a little bit of it. So after we do that, we can request a change of scope for the additional.
Okay, I'm a little confused. Additional,
We have additional grant money.
10,000?
1,000 for the
Okay.
roof. I'm sorry,
Okay.
1,000 for the
Okay.
roof.
Yeah,
We'll probably need most of that, and then we have an additional 10,000 for the boiler, which is, that part is already done and paid for, but there was about almost $3,000 for county's budget. So we can submit for reimbursement for that money, and that'll give us approximately 10 more to request for something
for the
else.
change of scope.
Yeah, so this first one is the resolution that will need to be signed for this grant for the jailhouse boiler for the $10,000.
Yeah, I see. I'm trying to get the.
You're doing pretty good. These two down here
Any of those?
Any?
Yeah.
Honest.
Then following the resolution will be the application.
No, just private side.
And then we'll do the same thing for the $1,000 on the EMS roof. Resolution. Debbie, you can sign on the attest coming across on the resolution.
Need a motion.
So moved. Sign the resolutions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Replacement of county clerk's office copy machine.
And copier in the county clerk's office, the main one, the big one that they use and also all the abstractors use. It's about run its course of life. They've had to have maintenance work come in, I think, 11 times in the last 3 months. So we have a proposal for either, the proposal is for a new copier, just like the one she has. Lease or purchase, both options are on there. The purchase price is $3,898, and a lease to own would be $84 a month on a 60, I think it's 63 months. One benefit in addition to not having so much maintenance issues would be, it would be more efficient to operate. It's not going to be more cost efficient to operate. It needs a lot less toner. So that will on the savings, but this is the proposal.
Don't mean like we gotta have it, we're gonna buy it.
But what was she talking about yesterday? That she was gonna switch something from underneath the counter to use
Yeah,
in
that's,
place of that.
1,600 in interest?
Copy or the printer?
Yeah, but it's to
292.
replace of that.
More than
No, it's
six.
not.
Okay.
1,800 in interest.
What was the purchase price, was 3,000?
3898.
3898. If you make those payments, you're gonna have almost 300 in it. We have that in our budget,
I would like to start with
the full,
that. You're gonna pay 1,500 in interest.
yeah, boy, that's a lot of interest.
40%.
Do you know, Cindy, if we have it?
Do we have
In the
that in the
budget?
budget?
Mhm.
Oh, I think probably the money can be found. I haven't truly looked to recommend to you a place to take it.
Well, now listen,
No, but
it's in there somewhere. I mean, it's in there somewhere to take it out of there as opposed to, yeah, if we have to have it.
well, I mean, the
Surely we're not gonna
decision,
sit.
no, we have to have it, but it's whether you purchase outright straight. I mean, $84 is a little easier to come up with a month, it's just you pay so much more back. Personally, I would prefer if we have the money budgeted to spend $3,900 and buy it straight out.
But is this where?
But do we
there was
have it in
anything
our budget?
budgeted
There's
That
something
Angel's talking
budgeted.
about, that we didn't have a budget for?
I'm just
I
saying,
know we
even
can come up with $84 a
Yeah,
month.
he's been saying for a while.
I understand, I'm saying even if it's not in that budget, I don't know that I'm gonna be an advocate of spending $84 a month and spending 40% interest in the total project cost. I mean, it'd be different if we were talking about $40,000.
It's a close budget.
I understand.
And I totally oppose spending something we don't have. I hope we do have it, but like, know that we have it.
Well, that's why we should be able to find where it is first before we say we're gonna buy
Yes.
it. And Cindy check and
Would you
find,
like just
yes,
to table it
till the
until?
next meeting and you search and see where you can come up with that.
Yeah.
I hear a motion tabling the copy machine replacement.
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Normally, we would have contingency fund, but as I recall, Angel told us we expended those funds.
95.
7,000 in there, 69.
She thought we might be getting some more back from a grant. You know, that reimbursement from.
We have, we have.
And she said that's where it would go back into.
Well, what'd she tell us we had cold severance yesterday? 67,000?
Mhm.
Just so we know where it's coming from.
But the jail bill still, the rest of the
She
year.
can put it out for 2 weeks, can't she?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with Brian, I would much rather pay cash. Save $1,500, budget somewhere else, providing we have it.
Well, like I said, if 1,500 was on 40,000, it'd be a whole lot easier for me to swallow. But 1,500 on 3,900, that's not very easy to swallow.
No,
Basically half.
Yeah,
no. Gosh, that's high.
yeah. I wish I had some money, I'd invest with them so they could finance.
Is that how these
Finance
car
money.
leases are? I don't know anybody, or is that
I lease one
pretty?
time, you don't lease.
You don't lease, cars
Unless
same
you got
way.
money to hand over fast, you don't come out ahead.
Let's pay some bills. This is the worst part of the meeting.
Yes.
Okay, before you start into the bills, see if I can explain this, about the extension office. Now, when WVU took over handling the county's extension money, we've been since then determining what the rollover is, because they always have some money at the end of each year that rolls over. Without a financial statement, that balance could not be determined accurately, and that's been the delay. But based on calculations that Angel's been doing, she talked to the state auditor's office about how to handle it, because they'd like to get the money. Lisa Montgomery was in here a couple weeks ago, and Angel and I met with her and kind of discussed where we are and all this. And went over the numbers that we felt like was due to them, and she agreed with that. But the city auditor's office recommended to Angel just to go back to the point that she started and start with a zero balance and work forward. Income, expenses, rollovers, reimbursements and all of that, and see where you come out to. So come with that math, it comes out to, this is more than what I thought. We looked at 8,600, but she has on this, we owe them $9,784.01. Now, when Lisa was here and we looked at it, we looked at a number of 9,600 and some, or 8,600 and some. So I'm not sure, I haven't talked to Angel about this new number to see why it's up from 86 to 97. But she wanted approval, and if you have any questions, you can ask her to come in, she said.
That's rollover money.
It's rollover money.
Was never ours.
Yeah. I just want to clarify, it's the extra is what's left at the end.
We've written them a check about every year.
Right. Because they came
Yeah.
But
before.
now,
Yes.
that's not, this won't, after this one, this will never be another,
For
will never
us
be
to
an issue
only
again,
be-
because the sheriff is sending them their check on the 10th of every month.
Right, whatever is collected in taxes.
Whatever's due them is, yeah, it just be the last one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's not a matter of really, not of saying we can't send it to them, but it really is a matter of you are okay with the way she's arrived at this number.
She is an Angel or she is in Lisa Montgomery?
Angel.
Angel, well, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Accepting the fact that she won't send it till the money's there.
Right.
Okay.
We'll talk to Angel about that when she comes in for the budget revisions.
I'm assuming there is a check to be, an invoice to be approved for this, because she said I'm putting this on top, explain to them first.
What's the amount of their levy?
35,
That's what it costs.
it's the same as senior. And then it's 35.
They changed nevertheless.
I was gonna say they're not exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's in, I don't know, I'm almost sure it's 35, so you know what their levy is?
35.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And the seniors is 30,
I'm not sure. of the numbers.
lockers about
20 or 25, which is the library.
It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Never in 6 years. And they're charged one thing for the need to.
I just use the credit card when I do.
That's a grant, that would be paid with the grant.
Yes.
IRP rating,
Right.
yeah. LEPC rating, or OEM.
Okay. You can still get a tire there for $5.
Yeah.
What's this one?
That's a grant also. It's a grant through, I don't know if it's LEPC or OEM, yeah, LEPC. It's just for one of their planning emergency planning.
Is that the $1,000?
You should-
This is 500.
You should sign that though, to validate that.
To be paid,
Yeah.
you guys.
Susie, nobody?
You mean to approve it?
Yes.
Yeah, Susie already put.
I mean, just to make sure it's legit, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at this and it looks good, it's a lot of money.
But I see what you're saying, there's no approval on it.
Right, nobody signed it.
Okay, we'll hold
I
on
don't
to that.
know. I mean, somebody should sign it. Shouldn't they?
Wow, the date's November 4th.
See, this, if I'm not mistaken, this is that $1,000, part of that $1,000 money they get. They did not, when Dean McCullough and Jack quit,
$5,000.
that was,
They do a $5,000 one every year.
but they had their no check, they didn't get their check.
I think that's
It didn't come in the mail.
the Miller Communications.
No, this is their grant funding, or the funding for the LEPC. So they ended up tracking it back, and they just got it maybe a month ago for their expenditures. And they said they didn't have no mailbox, and that's why Susie and them had to open up a mailbox now. The LEPC has a mailbox downtown to get the check.
What's that for $5,000?
Well, maybe, I don't really know, because I haven't seen these before right now, but that 5,000,
All right. Okay.
Michelle, though.
Now, Aaron Elton's property upstairs, is this a lease purchase or is this just a? When they broke,
that one just started, probably about 6 months ago.
Pretty big deal, isn't it?
Is that $5,000 for SOPs, standard operating?
It's some procedure.
That's what it is, where we have to have them every year, or every so many years, updated. That's what I thought.
Page, consultant,
Yes.
that's what they want.
when
Yeah.
did you get this deal? And who brought it to you? Or
It was
just
in this folder, and we just got it in the meeting.
you or the worker?
Yeah, so Laura needs these things, I haven't seen yet. Here. That bill for Bob Reed, 1,400, plus there's a hard bill for materials, about 700. That total together to 2,100 is repairs for water lines that froze over there while we didn't have anything. When everything got turned back on, finding all these cracks and leaks.
When Troy couldn't
Did
find
you
the shut off.
submit this to get a little of that excess money back from that? Or they-
It's a separate entity.
Well, it's jailhouse.
some
It's,
same deal?
yeah.
We
it's-
were the
it
try.
probably-
We
it
were the
probably-
try.
We probably could submit that as part of it, because it's all related.
The worst they can say is no.
If we're gonna ask for a change of scope or
Then
permission
yes,
to do other
yes,
things, yeah.
yes, but just to say, slide this in, I don't think so. I would. Be up front, right, thinking
Oh,
that
I'd be
this
upfront,
happened,
yeah,
yeah.
I'd be upfront about it.
Can this be used, or do we need to change the
Because
scope first?
it's gonna, I mean, they're gonna let us keep the money for
Right.
some project or another, so it's
Right.
not gonna matter to them probably.
Have our ducks in a row before we use it.
Hey, did you know the elevator's broke?
They just told me that a couple days ago. They actually mentioned to me probably several weeks ago, and it totally slipped my mind, but apparently a couple days ago, when you take the prisoner upstairs,
Grand jury.
everybody remembered.
There was a juror on the grand jury.
A juror?
Mhm.
Yesterday they tried to take the prisoner. Oh, that's what I heard, the prisoner. I didn't hear about a juror.
We got, needs immediate attention. They said that when they were working on the basement over there, something happened.
Well, that's what they think. We have no way of knowing.
Working on the basement's a mess, the elevator, they use
When,
it,
yeah, when the boiler company was replacing the boiler,
they use it and run it up in there.
they only used it one time, but they think that I don't know, this is what I was told by a couple people, they think that they did something to it. There's no way to know.
Right.
That's
Hmm.
fun leaks. That's not- Yeah, that just,
That's an example of a lease group thing to develop.
absolutely.
That goes with what yeah, really.
Now that is an increase in the gas bill.
For the courthouse?
Yep. $560 to $1704.87.
I don't know why it was high, but
Estimate.
of course it
They
was.
estimate.
They estimated through that cold weather.
Yeah. Still get credit.
And it was cold, I mean, it is gonna be there, no doubt about
I'm
it.
telling you, that estimation, those guys, those people are legal thieves, that's all they are. I mean, that's just nonsense.
Yeah.
There's no way we'd be able, you cannot conduct business that way, neither could I. You couldn't just send me a bill and say, well, we just estimated what Ramco owes you.
Mhm.
Sorry, Brian, here's a $10,000 beer bill because we estimated wrong last month. Legal thieves. As a matter of fact, there used to be a bar over before you get to.
That happened at the store last month.
Clarksville.
When I got my electric bill, and I thought, woo-wee, doing good, it was only like $80. And I knew something was up, they had estimated it was $80. Well, then they did the actual read, and earlier in the week, I got one for $575. So I mean, if you averaged them out, it's probably about right. They should just read it every month.
Yes. Like I said, nobody else is allowed to conduct business that way.
Just say 213.85.
That's back.
Yep.
Is it on there? You just see this? Network communications, 6,003, the IRP radios.
Yeah. Just a minute.
Way out of
you, evidently we had our own oil. And
That's cheap.
it's cheap. Is that the same?
So there's that.
Two different ones, 705, 714.
So there's your dick. Thing with mouth roll from that. That's what I was on to.
Yes.
Put it in, just to open it and pour it.
Well, take the blame.
Mhm.
Elected.
Still cheap.
Did you get the email where that raise was passed yesterday on the 3rd? Or Saturday? Saturday. For the 3rd package. It's going to happen. Yeah, across the board. That's what I said yesterday. See what I'm thinking, that I'll look at that real fund and count that money.
No,
I didn't know.
No,
Nope.
they're gonna look at your general overall standing.
They'll count that as
So
income.
that'll do that.
We're gonna look at current revenue for the year.
Listen, that's the kind
I
of thing
hope
that
you're
sunk,
right.
that's the kind of thing that sunk the automotive industry. When you give a raise like that, that raise is, it's forever.
Yep, it's not a one-time deal. Indirect center good of people's gas.
First one.
Everyone knows as well.
Equitable's coming out of people's gas.
Really?
Didn't say equitable on there, it's like a small letter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
underneath formerly equitable gas. Really? I didn't know that. That's for the White House upstairs, for 3 bedrooms. They pay to have the meter in case they ever use gas when she lived upstairs. Cause she ran off the free gas and how it freezes up and goes off, they set a meter for her.
Did you live in that?
No. No. They asked me, didn't they? During my interview, it was either you or James Combs.
Wasn't
Would you
me,
be
my
interested in
goodness,
living up there if we could
places.
film? I said, I could, but my daughter, I would put her in. That's what I said, I told them. I could stay there, but I would not instruct my daughter to stay up there.
A good story to tell you about that one of these days. Back when we were building something in there, I finished it very long, and I went up there one night, had to go up there. There's some crazy noises.
I spent several times downstairs in that office and heard things. Left a few times too. Yes, I did. I ain't gonna mess with this. I'm not looking at spirit world stuff.
Me neither.
You mean like ghosts?
It's noises.
I know one thing, I was up there by myself, and I'm not easy to speak either, I'm just not, I don't worry about that kind of thing. I don't. I mean, it didn't run me off, but I'll guarantee you one thing, it had me wondering.
And you heard the same?
Oh, yeah. I'll be up there at night working.
What do you hear?
It's just noise. It's like cracking. I'm sure it's
Maybe that was a house
what,
somewhere.
100 years old, 200 years old or something.
Have you ever been in there? I mean, in the dark up there, just stuff everywhere, just like, oh, just,
Perfect place for spooks.
And when I,
It's got the setting, here's the Sharp Hospital.
It definitely has the setting.
Yes, it does. Of course, all the kids would come
Dusty.
in and they'd swear they see people walking up and upstairs. That was their folklore or whatever.
well, Willer used to try to scare me every evening when I was here working on it. Telling me about all the ghosts in the courthouse.
Oh,
And then everybody would leave and it'd be quiet and the pipes would start cooling and they were like chains
Yeah.
hanging. And your mind is thinking, oh,
well, maybe.
one more step, bills are longer than paid.
Oh, goodness.
Gonna be something for the sheriff's department.
I never heard of that. There's a lot of it.
It's examine. Naturalist. Yep.
Yeah, forgot to silence it. Yeah, it's right here by you.
That's what I heard.
Uh-huh. The total of all invoices approved for payment today is 101,185.77.
$22,425, that's for insurance.
I'm just gonna call you back after this, to try to get some of these figures. And how many people have family? Is everybody,
We did that last year, remember?
yeah, but I don't remember the number.
I'm saying Shelley had, well, you may have thrown
Yeah,
it
no,
away.
I probably still have it.
Right there, that's most
I probably still have it.
current.
And taking that by the year,
Okay, tell me what is you want calculated.
how much we're paying for, how many has family, and how much that costs us a year for family.
Okay,
And then if it were single
what would you say?
for each
Same
person,
for everybody.
yeah, that we pay 100% of the employee, what that number would be in that,
And they pay the family.
if they get it,
You
yeah.
get pro rata on it.
Right.
I think it's between 12 and 13,000. Savings.
Per employee.
No.
For them to have family, it's 12,000. And for somebody to have single, it's how much? A year?
Like
That was
six?
$6,000.
6, so half. So it's got to be more than 12.
All right, I'm quoting something.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty hefty number.
Is it 6 and 12 or 9 and 12?
6 and 12, what she saying. Is there anybody single on there?
Well, we've got, you're on here.
I got Whitney.
Larry?
Are you,
One right up the top, I'm
you're
just
single?
saying,
He's single.
Good.
there are only two single, Miss Means and Stacy Smith.
Yeah, it's double.
Yeah. And then to find out how many have family coverage, give me that number. That's what I was trying to figure out. If we had to make cuts and cut that, how much would that put back in our budget to balance the budget? Or make the budget?
Well, this, I don't want this, I hate to assume, so I want to ask, I know the answer to the question, but this is 100% payroll
Employees pay,
deduction.
We pay, we pay.
We
Out of
don't-
our own check.
But it's a payroll deduction. they pay 100% of the cost.
You not have the dental line?
I just, no, I'm just direct.
You have the dental line?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it $62, $22, something, I can't remember.
Right there on that first page. Right on the second page.
Well, maybe one it is, I'm thinking something else, yeah.
It's like $22 or something.
$22.
Right. Yeah, the family code is $63. They all start running together. See, I do 63.
You know, any of insurance, they make money, of course, and you can, and something's going to go bad, but you only need to collect from it one time.
Whitney had braces. Her braces were $6,000.
I have,
And my insurance paid $1,500, and then insurance and it paid $1,500. So we only had them come to $3,000.
I have a root canal, it's a lot easier to come up with $150. than it was $100.
Yep. It's worth it.
How painful is that? The root canal.
You don't want to know.
Did you go to Westport?
No, I did, and he sent me to Parkersburg. My
It must
first,
have been bad.
I'd go back a second time,
You must have been bad.
yeah.
Because I did my own little trip. Westport did.
It's still not right,
Really?
I don't think. It doesn't hurt.
Motion to approve invoices for payment.
So,
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. You got it. Will you get Angel?
Corporate, I told you it'd be exciting, didn't I? Yeah. Didn't you have that number?
The number he's asking for.
With the insurance?
I found the sheet where we calculated the things last year, but I'll have to study what it, just like the one I'll be calculated. I couldn't rapidly look and see.
We have how many employees? 28?
28.
And out of that 28, how many are just single coverage?
2.
Two. Stacy and Harry.
That's 26. And then
Let
we
me
need to times
This
that.
is what's a year old now.
Right, but we need to times that by $12,000. Correct?
Yeah. approximately.
Ballpark-ish.
All right, Cindy, go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna pass these
$312,000 a
letters
year.
out to you that came from the Senior Companion Program. Each one's addressed individually to you. I want to introduce you to the program. They're requesting funding assistance. If you look down there toward the bottom, they're asking for $1,000 funding.
Did they lower this age for everybody?
You're just getting older.
I didn't think we were senior, we were 65.
Yeah, but this is the senior companion volunteer.
It's always been
That's
55.
the volunteer, isn't it, Cindy? You gotta be 55
Get
to
all
volunteer.
sensitive down
Oh,
there.
it is?
Yeah, I get a little sad.
Trying to roll back the years here.
I'm not trying to roll them back, I just think we're gonna give some more credit.
You can order off that menu with Bob Evans. Hello, Jim.
$265 an hour.
This goes in our
$265.
budget.
Okay, here's, the next thing is a letter that each of you received from, Senator Joe Manchin. It's in regards to the Bigger's Act, the Flood Insurance Affordability Act, where the flood insurance for homeowners was going to increase. This says they rolled it back and there will be no increase for 4 years. That's good news. If you want a copy of it, put it in the file. So to update you on the STIP program, the Statewide Transportation Improvement Program, we received an update where a project up at College Street and Mineral Road has been put on their scope of projects. There's 3 different phases of it. Beginning here sometime immediately, there'll be a design and engineering phase done for the Mineral Road and College Street entrance exit. And then later this fall should be the second phase, where they'll do right-of-way acquisitions. And then next year in the spring, they will actually begin the work that they decided would be needed to make that intersection safer and more usable. So total, they have allocated 2, 3, 4, 5, a little over 5 million allocated. Probably about 5.3 million allocated for that whole project. Also this year's, that's a project that should be happening anytime, will be the resurfacing, redecking of our bridge.
And when did you say for the entrance at Mineral Road and there?
Well, right now, should be, they're doing the engineering phases, and then in the fall, they'll do the acquisitions of right-of-ways, and in the spring, start the work.
Of 2015 or 2016?
15, start the work.
Oh, because they were down there measuring.
Yeah.
And just, the grant the sheriff's department submitted for a car has passed the first stages. Actually, it's second stage. We got a letter from Region 7 that they had reviewed it and everything looked good. USDA has reviewed it. And then we got a letter from the state. I forget the agency. It just came yesterday, actually. But anyway, it's got to the next phase. So it's moving along. No approval yet. There are 36 letters that were sent out for funding requesting funding assistance for the rec center pool. And in response, this will go directly to the rec center PO box. I don't know if anything has returned yet. We did receive $20,000 reimburses for the jailhouse grant. That money's back into our coffers. The Canner Community Building, the water damage, they've got everything cleaned out. All the debris is cleaned out and hauled away. We've used germicide on the floor and all that to kill any mold or bacteria. And so the next step will begin the remodeling process. They're going to do the downstairs first. They're going to provide the labor. We're going to provide the materials. And first process will be the downstairs so they can have that ready for service.
That Cindy and I went down to the meeting, Sadie Keppel asked for me to get, and they were working that night, weren't they, on the cleanup?
We already received a check from the insurance
Yes.
company.
Yes, 9,600. That's all I have.
Okay.
This might have got missed, but this is kind of important here, because I heard from several people, when they got their insurance, flood insurance premiums, myself included, it went up 25%, with a note that said it's going to go up 25% next year, next year, and next year. And this letter says from Senator Manchin that last week the U.S. Senate passed the Homeowner Flood Insurance Affordability Act, which is going to stop that increase for another 4 years. So that's a good thing to pay flood insurance.
Angel?
Brought yours back.
Okay, but I have an airline, but it was in some way to 5,025 There's two grants on here I have to money for. I increased the federal grant 6984 and 5,000. 5,000 we've already received a check for it for an LACC. So I have to put that in their budget. And the 6984 is for IRT grant and it's 100% reimbursable. I increased the county clerk earned 3,000 and 6,000 and 5. I put 1,000 into the county clerk training and education. She's got a June county clerk meeting coming up. And I put 2,000 in her department supplies because she's able to spend it and she's buying a lot of training and all that kind of stuff. And also put 4,000 into commission, insurance and bonds, and 2,000 into their supplies. Also increased our risk payment is revenue 9687. Is insurance, care community building insurance, and I'll put it into other buildings for them to spend to I increased 380 for 846452 to cover the extension office bill.
But the difference, there was a difference.
You don't know the difference?
No, from the 8,300 or whatever to the 94.
There's some money in it, so I just done it different.
So it is 9,400 or whatever, okay, 97.
Yeah.
And then back on this right here, where you did, right here, the 3,000, is that's Gene's office?
Yes.
Is that to go for the new copier? No.
That is for training and education, I put 1,000 in and 2,000 into the departmental supplies.
For Turner and Inc.
Yeah.
Can you ask her a question before you approve that? Where she put the reimbursement or the insurance check for the Gilmer community building and other buildings, maintenance and repair. Is that where you want it? Is that where you want to pay it out of?
Maintenance and repair of other buildings.
The reason I asked that, it probably won't take all of it.
Right. And then they use part of that to do the copier, right?
Back in the fiscal year.
I'm gonna make sure that that's where you want it. That's all.
Angel, you mentioned not too long ago that our contingency fund is low, and that you foresaw us being able to put some more money into it possibly later. Are we still at later?
I'm trying to recall why I would say that.
I don't remember her saying that.
I can't remember saying that, but
I don't remember her saying
I said it was one. It's got 8,884 in it. Anytime, like, when I do the agreements, I try not to touch the contingency when I come back to it. If anything goes on, I can put it on the agreement. If I say that, I'm sorry, I can't allow that.
I may have misheard. I do definitely we agree that our contingency fund balance is low. Now with this proposed much needed copier for the county clerk's office, is there a line item that was set up initially for that?
No, there's not a lot.
There's not, is it?
Set up.
That's why we are definitely in this budget, we've got to have an equipment line item.
There's equipment line item, but there's not money in there.
I said,
There-
we have a line item.
I would say we didn't put money in it.
Well, between now and our next meeting on the 19th, can you look at some places we can move some money to get enough? It was about $4,000.
4,000. I'll have some options, I think. But I'll let you know.
I'm trying to remember, in order to balance last year's budget, we did begin with 3% of our total budget in contingency here.
Usually how I do it is, I'll put a lot of money in there, I'll put a lot of money in the, my account, then the sheriff's settlement account, so I just go through number, usually completely fill it up. And then, the rest of it, whatever, but I couldn't do that.
Is that still the law though, that we can't have 3% of total budget in contingency? That used to be the law.
Yeah. The reason we also have 13,000 extra that we put in the company that when they reimburse us, the difference between what we pay you and what we have to spend. So I'm going to be back to the money to, do you want it in your own budget, do you want it in your own budget under equipment? Doesn't matter.
Make a difference to me, but it's in Jean's office. She's got an equipment line item in her office.
I'll let it say.
Thought she
It's
did.
all
That,
right.
we talked about.
I actually had a conversation with Warren Ash the other day, said I had a couple questions about budgets, and he said that everything having to do with an office ought to stay with that
To
office.
get a sure reading, you've mentioned that before.
Yeah. And then also another thing, just to maybe tweak how we're doing things here, or a better picture is, under the courthouse budget, there are, or to be back under the commission budget, the 401, there, under the 424 courthouse budget, there are actually things there that ought to go over into 401, and kind of vice versa. The courthouse should be only things that deal with this structure, whether the county government's in here or anything else, having to do with this structure and maintaining it. And then everything else, contracts, et cetera, should either go to you or to individual officers. So there's some kind of, a little bit of mismatch there, but that's just part of every year.
That's why it's important to have a contingency though. It would be very difficult, considering our finances, to put money in a line item in equipment for each of these elected offices. You just,
We have this proposal last year, I think you said that you got to do it.
well, to have a pool, and then when we need it, we can move it like you're going to do with the county
Well,
clerk.
it doesn't have enough money to put, doesn't have enough money to put money in an equipment line item for each office.
Well, what she's saying is, all of, like the leases for the copier and everything, all of it coming out of the courthouse or your office.
Yeah, I understand what she's
Put
saying.
all of it there.
Yeah.
And
Well,
where
you
you
can
at with funding for the jail budget,
Do what?
to fund for the jail bill? You remember, we're like 100,000, maybe 130?
Still trying. Another bill, that's all right, right there. When I get another bill, there'll be another bill. So it's just like, it's clear, right
And
there.
then online, bring a agreement.
So,
Put an office, with no doubt, isn't the copier used more?
Right, but we actually did this for the next month, which is like 25,000, instead of doing the whole 100 at first time.
Just, still trying to figure out.
Was it 13 that's what's in
Well,
there? Is that what you just said?
it says $853 in the back. I don't know if that's balance.
What was you saying, that we had 13,000 something on the bill,
Hopefully
we
it
actually
is.
paid?
that is in the revenue line item. Every year, they'll check the difference between what they've actually spent for the prisoners and what
charge.
was paid.
Right.
Right. So we get a reimbursement every year for that. And that's what that is.
So that can be taken back and applied to the bill on the next month's
That's
bill.
basically all.
Right.
I hate to bring that up about the jail, because we didn't see a jail bill today.
So I'm sure it was a real,
How's that?
That's what I just asked her.
yeah, I'll have to wait till next, until we get the, see what everything's there.
Okay.
Well,
All
I
right.
think it's out there.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Just Brian signs that one.
many days do you think you need to compile those numbers for me for that?
I'm gonna go after you all and I'm gonna get with Shelly and everything. I'm gonna have it tomorrow, not
What
sure.
is the 7th?
I'll try that by the end of the day, but
How about, Tuesday, the 11th,
I'll definitely have it by then.
Per budget.
workshop?
Good.
Price.
Yeah.
Tuesday, the 11th, what time?
I got a meeting at 8:30, I can be here by 9:30 or 10 o'clock.
That's good, I'm flexible.
The 11th?
10, 9:30.
Got something going on? Yeah. 10 o'clock,
10 o'clock.
and,
When we get time after your meeting, I'll show you how to do it.
I don't have my receipts with me.
Okay, fine.
They're in my car. You take that back over there and I'll bring it in.
Tuesday, the 11th.
Tuesday, the 11th.
At 10.
Tuesday.
The 11th.
Yeah, at 10, yeah. I thought you said 10. At which time wouldn't be a bad time, since Jerry Huff will be back up here anyway, to go back over that, take a few minutes and look at that bid, process as well. Go ahead and get rid of that.
And also to discuss about this ambulance roof, so that at the next meeting, we can move forward with putting that thing out for written bids.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. You gave me that. I had that thing yesterday, I put it in the school.
Need a motion to approve the budget revisions.
So moved.
Second.
Good. Jim, what do you have for us, bud?
Just one little thing, a little canal bus line, coming up with another year of funding to match, I guess, our match, not quite related. And, last year, we paid up $1,500 to them, and we just paid another $600 for the brochures, the bus brochures.
Thank you.
They're expecting us,
Thank you.
at least with the letter of intent, and we're gonna do this again this year. And I didn't know the county commission's gonna kick in anything, or have you discussed it? Whether you've
We're
got a
working on our
letter?
budget right now for the next.
We got the letter.
You got a letter, Jim?
It will be considered.
Probably they want 1,000 or something. South. So it'd be the bus line, business, and non-profit, and, but I think it's a good thing. I just wish it become self-sufficient,
Yeah.
which will take some promotion.
Right. It was a rough start with the weather. You know, start right in January and then we got hit with everything.
There's things that could be used for rather than just individual passenger service. I mean, they could take groups, any of the cities that they want to. I can see some things for the kids maybe, like the Clarksburg or Parkersburg for an event, a museum, if the school's going to do it. We may have some money in our FRM budget to help with the low income type thing. Maybe one other little thing is the pool going to be open this year? Or is it condemned?
It's not condemned. We're working on it.
You know,
It's just, we don't have any issues, money will take care of it.
Finances, the financial cost of.
it's a lot, isn't it?
$100,000. You got anything else for us, Jim?
Nothing more than just a question about the Historic Landmarks Commission. I had one recommendation, I tried to bring it up last month, but I didn't. Got the Historical Society. They have some obligation for historical properties, and they gave a briefing here at History Day about the various structures and locations around the county. I would ask them to take the responsibility, that board to the Landmarks Commission. Go ahead, they got a 5-7-member board of directors. They can monitor it, and they can write grants, and they can do this and that. And they can serve as an advisory capacity for the county commission for our historic landmarks program. Such as that.
When do we need to bring that up in front of that board?
I would say so.
Okay.
And that would be logical without trying to find new people. It's not a great burden, at least you get financial status taken care of and files and things like that. And if there's an opportunity to do a nomination, just a nomination or a survey, and we'll go there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we need to get everybody together.
Yeah, they meet, I think, the second Thursday of every month. So,
Okay.
okay, we can check on
Okay.
it. I'm on the board too, so.
Other business coming before the commission? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
It's kind of, I mean, it's not, you can't find shit that we done on this good. It's pretty specific, so as far as something, you can just hand the contractor and say, there it is. You can buy those areas on apartments.
Thank you, Debbie.
One of our residents passed
I'll need one of those.
this recent transcripts.
I didn't know that.
Well, I was wondering, that's something I thought about. Fran Smetzer died.